underway. That's a way to kick it off with some little jazzy. Thank you for that beat. Appreciate it. But we'll see if it needs to be taken out. But that's a whole different thing with that, right? It's a whole different thing. Because I'm taping right after that, recording right. So I really have not put my found out if I can condense it. You know what I'm saying? If you've seen the headline, then yeah, well, this is Pistisofsophia 4. It's been a while since we got back to the piece. Pistis did Dhammapada 1 and 2, went and did the rulers of the reality of the rulers 1 and 2, and we were back to Pistis. I really thought the reality of the rulers would be a much bigger book than it was. We were able to get through it in 2 sessions, and dang, if I cut out my parts of just going on and revelating and sharing my feelings and my soul, man, might have got it in 1, but it don't matter because I got to feel and be who I am, and always had to. And I was revelating, and as I was reading the book, because I said I told you guys a lot of these books I have not seen and have not taken part of them before. So I'm when I'm reading with you. We did the Apocalypse of Adam, and Adam in the Synoptic Gospel ain't the Adam we seen in the canonized version. Not the same dude. He was woke up by Eve, and the fruit was the clothing of knowledge. That's why they seen themselves naked from knowledge in that garden, which was really a garden. It looked like a garden, but it was really a prison. Ooh. Love it. It makes sense when we come out of that church realm and we see the decay, the lies, the use of control, the pandering, all that stuff, the indoctrination, calling people heretics, calling people names. And when we look at the names, they ain't what they said they are at all. And we see how strong program is through that, because people fell for it, man. People fall for it in 2025, believe it or not. Something that's very old, okie doke. It's like I always called it banana in the tailpipe. And you like the switching of the colors of my microphone. It will switch from green to blue to purple to yellow to white. I mean, I definitely like it. I was mentioning on the recordings, I'm hearing the clarity of the microphone, how good it sounds, and it brought some clarity to my voice and stability to the voice in the space of doing these videos. Because somebody asked me, why do you do these videos at your age when you retired? Why are you not doing this? Why aren't you going and traveling the 7 seas and going and seeing the world and going da da da? And then I realized that people really don't know who you are because they've never tasted what you have in the programming of not knowing of being resurrected while you live. Not when you die, because you die daily. What do you die out? To some more attachments, some more things that weigh you down, and you rise and resurrect to another state of who you are, even daily. I think that's Apostle Paul in the New Testament. And we'll get to this 4th version of Pistisofsophia. I heard you guys. I heard you with the Gnostic Gospels. So, and then what I'm going to do after 4 today, I'm going to start the next couple of videos. We're going to do the Sophia of Jesus Christ. Get ready. Strap those boots on. But this one's good too. So you better strap on today too, because you know this is really, really good stuff. It's green now. Yeah. Got to get a drink to get my voice ready for part 4. Let's do this to this. Pistis of the goddess Sophia, which is the goddess of wisdom. Let's do this. Pistis of Sophia. And we left off after verse 26, so we got verse 27 ready to share. Verse 27, ready to share. Here we go. Let me make it a little bit bigger for me to read and for you guys too on the screen. I've seen how nice this program is when I share the videos, how I used to struggle with the other one, be really small at times. And it's because I didn't know what I was doing. But this one is way bigger because I'm looking at the screen, even on my TV, and saying, man, I could just kick it and read it and don't even need these to read it on the TV. But it says, so let's go. And this, for this 27 chapter, it's called this Pistis 27 chapter. It came to pass then when the rulers of the eons and those of the fate and those of the sphere continued to carry out this type, turning on themselves, devouring the refuse of their matter, not allowing souls to be born into the world of mankind, in order that they may delay in being the rulers, and that the powers which are in their powers, that is, the souls, might spend a long time here outside. They then persisted doing continually for 2 circles. It came to pass when I wished to ascend for the mystery of the sake which I was called by the command of the first mystery, then I came up into the midst of the tyrants of the rulers of the 12 eons with my light vestiture. Remember, we went over this in this book, especially and talked about the vestiture was really your remembrance. It was your gnosis. It was your knowledge. It was your clothing. So when we seen Adam and Eve were naked, we used to say, what's that mean? It was sin. No, the sin was they didn't have their knowledge on, and they realized they were naked because they were without knowledge. Eating the fruit was them seeing the knowledge, or the gnosis was there, and this Yada Baoth was wanting them not to grow, to keep them imprisoned. Come on now. I mean, this makes sense. The whole thing just, no wonder the Catholic Church didn't want it known. I see it. I see it. And I believe the people who found this gospel, these books, this library in 1945 tried to buy it. The Vatican tried to purchase it for them because you would have never heard or seen of it. And I appreciate that group of men who found this, who held on and had it published for everybody to see. Shout out to them for staying steadfast and diligent and not selling it. I'm sure they could have got offered a lot of money for this, and probably were. Deep breath. Let's go on. Then they did, not knowing against whom they fought. When they united, and fought against the light, therein by the command of the first mystery changed the paths of the courses of the eons, and the paths of their fate and their sphere. I made them 6 months towards the triangles on the left, towards the squares, towards those in their aspect, towards their octagons, just as they had formerly been. But their manner of turning or facing I changed to another order, and made them other 6 months face towards the works of their influence in the squares of the right, and in their triangles in their aspects of their octagons. So we're talking geometry of light. And I made them to be confounded in great confusion and deluded in great division. And the rulers of the eons and all the rulers of fate and those of the spheres, I set them in great agitation, and hence they no longer were able to turn towards the refuge of their matter, to devour in the order in their regions, may continue delay, and they themselves may spend a long time as rulers. But when I was taken away in the third of their power, and changed their spheres, they spend time facing to the left, and another time facing the right. I have changed their whole path and their whole course, and have made the path of their course to hurry, so they may be quickly purified and raised up quickly. And I've shortened their circles and made their path more speedy. It will be exceedingly hurried, and they were thrown into confusion in their path. From then on were no more able to devour the matter of the refuge of the purification of their light. And moreover, I have shortened their time and their periods, that the perfect number of souls who shall receive the mysteries and be in the treasury of light shall be quickenly completed. For had I not changed their course and had not shortened their periods, they may not have let any soul come into the world, because the matter of their refuse, which they devoured, and they would have destroyed many souls. For this cause I said unto you foretime, I have shortened the times because of my elect. That's what I was thinking when I was reading this. It reminded me of that. Unless I make the days faster. How's that scripture go in the canonized version? I shorten the days if it weren't for the very elect would be deceived. Something like that. It's been a while since I read it, but that's what I was thinking of as I was reading this. And then I was thinking about what I had mentioned in the last video to a lot of you younger people, or people who've just walked into this recently. I'm talking about 4 or 5 years, not somebody who's been in 10 or 20, how you guys are learning faster. Where us back in the 1990s, early 2000s, it was more of a slower process. You guys are really being heard, shortening the days for the very elect. And it goes with this other, even in the canonized version, this other scripture that talks about that the people were working and getting paid, right? They were working, they were getting paid, right? And the person that came in the last was getting paid the much as the same person had been there a long time. This is what it reminds me of. That is talking about this, meaning you guys are going to walk the plank real quick. You're shortened. Your trials, tribulations, your growth is going to be exceedingly rapid. You're going to find out these mysteries really quick, where people like me would spend 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years in certain places and grow from it, revelate like a mad dog. But this process, even I noticed the process since 2012 through now, even 2020, since this COVID stuff, even since then, is even got more rapid. Even my learning and stuff into the deeper stuff is even more rapid. The last 10 years, and I'll even say the last 5 years, it's went to an exceedingly rapid space and place. Let me take that deep breath. And let me see. The perfect number of souls shall receive the mysteries, that is to say, the elect. Had I not shortened their periods, no material would have been saved, but they have perished in the fire, which is the flesh of the rulers. This then is a word of that which doesn't question me with precision. It came to pass when Jesus had finished speaking these words unto the disciples, that they fell down all together and adored him, and said unto him, Blessed are we before all men, for unto thou was revealed these great exploits. 28. Let me make this much bigger, a little bit even bigger. Right there. Perfect. And I hope you guys see real well. And Jesus continued again in the disclosure and said unto his disciples, Hearken concerning the things which befell me among the rulers of the 12 eons, that all their rulers, lords, and authorities, and their angels and their archangels, when they had seen the vesture of light which was about me, they and their unpaired, then every one of them saw the mystery of the name, which was on the vesture of life. I love this. The authorities, the angels, and the archangels, when they had seen the vesture of light, which was about them, that they were unpaired, then every one of them saw the mystery of his name, which was on my vesture. And see, that's that vesture of that clothing. That's that knowledge, that gnosis. If you get clothed with your gnosis, that's your clothing aspect of what this means. You're getting clothed with your gnosis, that knower within you, that which you get the experience, that which you get knowledge directly from light, that which wakens you into the higher realms. That's which gives you experience to experience things that you can't explain to some people because they have no knowledge of it. It's not learned in a book. It's not learned in a school system. It's not learned in any kind of system that's run on this realm. It's learned because it's processed. It's you. As you become the light more, the reflections of this become even more to you. This is heavy. I love this stuff, man. This just makes sense, doesn't it? I know, Patty, I know, Darlene, some of you guys just are just like sparkling, just glittering, hearing this and your experiences you're having now. This is some good stuff. I mean, really good next level stuff. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Unpaired. I love that. Adorn the vesture of light was about me, cried all together, saying, how hath the Lord of the universe passed through us without our knowing it? Because the unpaired represents the lack of unity. And also, like, what do you have to do? Even let's go into a little technology here. When you have in your phone, you have this one area called that you have to pair things in your Bluetooth. You have to pair it because it's unpaired in your Bluetooth, whether it's your headphones, whether it's your phone, whether it's your microphone. This one's not a Bluetooth one. This connects directly in, which I like even. Comes, right? And I just start seeing this and I was like, look at this, unpaired. And they are confessing they didn't know. They didn't witness. They couldn't bear witness because they could not attain that knowledge and gnosis on this level. And he's actually, this is where I'm seeing this is creating a new heaven and a new earth, a new realm of understanding of unity to even give you a new type of heaven. A new realm is coming from this, coming from you, coming from me, coming from all of us. They fell down, which is lowering themselves down, right? They fell down, giving honor, cried out, saying, how hath the universe passed through us? How has the universe passed through us without our knowing it? How did we not recognize this? And they all sang praises together, unity, praises together, they're paired, to the interiors of the interiors, the within the within, and their triple powers, and their great forefathers, their ungenerated, and their self-generated, and their generated, and their gods, and their light sparks, and their light bearers, in a word, and all their great ones saw the tyrants of their region, and their power was diminished in them, and they were in weakness themselves, fell into great immeasurable fear, right? They gazed on the mystery and their name on and my name on the vesture, and they had set out to come adore the mystery. For their name which was on my vesture they could not, because of the great light which was about them. They adorned a little removed from me. They adorned a little of my vesture, and they all cried out together, singing praises to the interiors of the interiors, which means the depthness of the within to the within. That's what they were seeing. The within was being opened up from the within they were in to a greater within, if that makes sense. Some of you guys will get that. They within and went to a deeper within of themselves, interiors of the interiors. It came to pass when they befell among the tyrants who were of the world of these rulers, that they all lost the power and fell down to the ground in their eons and became the dead world, dwellers with no breath in them, as they became in an hour when I took away from their power. It reminds me of that scripture about something being done in an hour. In is it Revelations, or it's one of the books? And I don't know exactly where it is, but I know what I'm talking about. It came to pass thereafter, when I left those eons, that every one of those who were in the 12 eons was bound to the order of all together. He's really breaking the duality of their divisions, even in the higher realms and the within realms, to package them in an order of oneness and together. They accomplished their works. I established them so they could spend 6 months turned to the left, right? Accomplishing their works in their squares or triangles, and those which are in their aspect, that further they may spend 6 months facing the right with the triangles and their squares, and for those who are of their aspect, then will those who are in the fate and sphere, right? Let's go to 29. But I gotta comment on this. The turning to the left is getting 160 or half of it, the information of one side. It could also be the logical or that aspect. And then turning to the right, and notice it's 6 and 6. It's 50% left, 50% right, the same amount of time. It's creating a unity of one, that you could have not one side, you could get the whole side, the wholeness, not just what you were into, what your calling was, and what you were seeing, that you could get that. And you would establish the interiors of that and the depths of that. But now you would go into the other side and see the other side for the same 6 as the key number, 6 months, it says, and get that 6, meaning you're getting the whole enchilada of both sides. 6 plus 6 is what? 12. 12 is a great, that order of 12. Come on now. This is really deep symbology, and this makes sense because it goes with a lot of stuff I've read, even in the canonized version I'm seeing, but on a deeper, what the meaning would be realm, instead of just keeping you like, I don't really know what that means, because the church doesn't. They don't have no idea what symbology is. They fake the funk all the time. Everything's literal. You know what I mean? Of those who came out of that realm and woke up and came out of that, were called out of that realm. You know exactly what I mean. Wow, this is really good. It came to pass then afterwards, I ascended to the veils of the 13th Ion. It came to pass then, when I had arrived at their veils, that they drew apart their own accord and opened themselves for me. I entered into the 13th Eon and found Pistisofia below the 13th Eon, all alone, and not one of them with her. She had sat in the region grieving and mourning. She was alone in a realm, and nobody had joined her. There was no the other aspect, the left feminine, the right masculine, whichever. If you want to reverse that, if it offends you, I'm not trying to put it on side, just showing you got the feminine and masculine aspects, this energetic field of who you even are now. You may be physically a male or physically a woman, but you have feminine. If you're a woman, there's a masculine impact also within you of energy. If you're a male, there's a feminine impact also within you. You can cut yourself half off. You can make yourself just 6 months. Or you can make yourself a halfway crook, they say in the streets, right? You only know half the story. Remember, it takes both sides to know the story, to get a balance. I entered into the 13th and found her alone. Deep breath. And she sat in the region grieving, mourning, because she had not been admitted to the 13th Eon, her higher region. So she's not passing she had not been admitted heavily. This reminds me of something I kind of said months ago on a video. And it was just a video I made, and I said, your frequency was your password. Your frequency is your password. When you want to go to the next level, you got to have the password, just like we're dealing with our passwords in this technology. And the password is you got to match the frequency and knowledge of where you're going. If it doesn't fit, you can't permit it in. Does that make sense? Let's see what the story entails. She's not admitted in the 13th Eon, her higher region, and she was moreover grieving because of the torments which self-willed, who was one of the triple powers, had inflicted on her. But this, when I shall come to speak with you respecting their expansion, I will tell you the mystery. Now this befell her. It came to pass, when Pistisofia saw me shining most exceedingly with no measure of light which was about me, that she was in. And I have a feeling that this connection right here, the masculine to the feminine, is going to, this light that she's bringing is going to bring the light of the 13th. I haven't read it yet, but I just feel it. Let's see if I'm right. A great agitation gazed at the light of my vesture. She saw the mystery of her name on the vesture, meaning this vesture was connected to her. This knowledge of the 13th, I'm going to say, and the whole glory of its mystery. For formerly she was in the region of the height in the 13th Eon, but she was to sing praises of her higher light, which he had seen in the veil of the treasury of light. And I remember that treasury of light. That's heavy stuff. It came to pass, when she persisted in singing praises to her higher light, that all the rulers who are with the two great triple powers and her invisible, who was paired with her, and the other 22 and 20 visible emanation gazed at the light, and such as Pistisofia and her pair, that the other 22 emanations make up 24 emanations, which is the great invisible forefather, and the great triple powers have emanated. Oh, God, this stuff is so good. So good. 30. Let me check something as we go into 30. I want to check our time. Where are we at? We're good. We're very good. We're very good right now. It came to pass, let me make it just a little bit. It came to pass when Jesus had said unto his disciples that Mary came forward and said, My Lord, I have heard thee say aforetime, Pistisofia herself is one of the 24 emanations. Now this is not in the region, but thou hast said, I found her below the 13th eon. The story of Pistisofia. Jesus answered and said unto the disciples, it came to pass when Pistisofia was in the 13th eon, in the region of her brethren, the invisibles. This is the 24 emanations of the great invisible. It came to pass that when they commanded the first mystery, that Pistisofia gazed into the height, and it said she seen the height. She saw the light of the veil of the treasury of light, and she longed to reach to that region. I know how to feeling, girl. And she could not reach that region, but she created to perform the mystery of the 13th eon and sing praises to the light of the height, which he had seen in the light of the veil of the treasury of the light. And it came to pass when she sang praises to the region of the height that all the rulers in the 12 eons who are below hated her because she had ceased from their mysteries. Wow. This answers a question of my life. I'm just going to say this. Wow. Wow. I'm going to say this. And I knew this, but this answers on a deeper realm because I've experienced this over and over. Every time I went from one realm of people that I was connected to in spiritual understanding, and I anteed up, raised up, the ones below who did not raise up almost disliked me or would cut me off like I was leaving them or cutting them off. But I just knew that I had to leave and go to the next level. And that next level was not in the place, in the spiritual place that they were in. I'll just leave it at that. I've experienced, this has happened to me a lot. Deep breath. And because she had desired to go into a different place, for this cause they enraged against her and hated her, as did the great triple-powered self-will, that is the third triple power, who is the 13th eon. He had become disobedient, inasmuch as he had not emanated the whole purification of his power in him, and had not given the purification of his light of time. When the rulers gave their purification, in that he desired the rule over the 13th eon and those are below it, it came to pass when the rulers of the 12 eons were enraged against Pistisofia, who was above them, and hated her exceedingly, that the great triple power self-will of whom I have just told you joined himself to the rulers of the 12 eons, and also enraged against Pistisofia and hated her exceedingly, because she had thought to go to the light which is higher than her. And he emanated out of himself a great lion-faced power, and out of this matter in him he emanated a host of other violent material emanations, and set them into regions below to the parts of chaos, in order that they may there lie in wait for Pistis. This makes sense to me. It's like the lower realm, right, didn't want her to leave, because in all what they were doing in the manipulation of Yadabaoth in the lower realms of the archons, in those lower realms, the only light really that is manifested in the connection is Sophia, because she created it out of a mistake, right? And if she goes higher, she actually leaves her presence completely. And they really, she's their secret goddess, even though they won't admit it, because they're not for the people. Even though she comes and helps the people out of it because the mistake. But the only light they're trying to get and take is Sophia's, if that makes sense. Suck out her emanation, suck out her presence, suck out her energy, suck out her goddessness, suck out her life, if you know what I mean, even though there's no change in them to do anything better. Watch this. Deep breath. Sophia take away her power out of her because she thought to go to the height which is above them all. Moreover, she has ceased to perform their mystery. Wow, that's exactly what I was seeing. And Lamed, they would actually feel lifeless without him. And Lamed continuously sought after the light which she had seen, and the rulers who abide or persist performing the mystery hated her, and all the guards who were at the gates of the eons hated her also. It came to pass when thereafter, by the command of the first commandment, that the great triple power self-willed, who was one of the three triple powers, pursued Sophia in the 13th eon in order that she should not look towards the parts below, that she might see the region is his lion-faced light power along after, and go to the reason so that her light might be taken from her. This is wow. This is some vamping, baby. The true vampire being a vampire. Let me check time. We're getting there. We'll read a little different. I don't know. I may not do what I said I was going to do, folks. I will do it. We will go to the Sophia of Jesus Christ, but this stuff is good right now, and I got to get back into this. The what we're doing. So let's read this. Came to pass when thereafter she looked below and saw his light power in the parts below, she knew not that. Let's get just a little bit bigger. A little bit. No, that's good. That the triple's power self-willed, but she thought that came out of the light which she had seen from the beginning of in its height, which came out of the veil. I love this veil of the treasury of light. Meaning treasury is a place where you keep riches of light. She thought to herself, I will go into the region without my pair and take the light thereof fashion for myself light eons, that I may go to the lights of light, which is the heights of heights. This, when thinking, she went forth into her own region, the 13th eon, went down to the 12 eons. The rulers of the eons pursued her and were enraged against her because she had thought of grandeur. She went forth from among the 12 eons and came into the regions of chaos and drew nigh to the lion face light power to devour it, and all the material emanations of the self-will surround her, and the great lion face light power devoured all the light powers in Sophia and cleaned out her light and devoured it, and her matter was thrust into the chaos. It became a lion-faced ruler in chaos, which one half is fire and the other darkness. That is Yadobaoth, whom I have spoken unto you many times. When this befell, Sophia came very greatly exhausted, and the lion-faced light power set up to work to take away from Sophia all the light powers, and all the material powers of the self-will surrounded Sophia at the same time and pressed her. I think I'll stop there. I'm going to check the time real quick. Let's stop there. Let's definitely stop there. I'll even stop the share there. Wow. I'm blowing. I love this. I was going to go right into, I'm going to be honest, I was going to go and do, after this 1-4, I was going to go right into the Sophia of Jesus Christ. Not. This is now in the very artichoke of the depth and height. This number 4, it's freaking the bomb. For me, I was seeing this stuff from the higher realms. I could definitely feel Sophia. I felt like Sophia many times, to be honest with you, at times. And I even thought about this. There's times that, many of us, if you are a very sensitive empath, and then there's times you don't feel anything and you start thinking something's weird. Why aren't I feeling anything, right? You know what I mean? There's times it's like, I'm not feeling anything, especially when you're somebody that's an empath, when you're somebody who has a lot of sentience, and definitely that sentience is you get knowledge from feel, that you get that information from feel, and then there's times you're feeling nothingness. You might feel there's something wrong, but it's really a waiting and arresting, because she was exhausted in the story. And then she was exhausted because they stole all her light. And Yadabaoth was thieving madly. And then the higher realms didn't want to give her up because she was a feeding frenzy for them. And then, when she wanted to go higher, it was kind of on her own. And that's when she fell in the behalf, and the accident came, because she really was out of, I want to go to higher states. Kind of like when you read, and this is what I'm saying, when you read Mary Magdalene, who's a Sophia, definitely, like Eve, Mary Magdalene knew the mysteries more than the man in the story, in that. And there's some more Mary coming too, because I know there's other books with Mary. There's even the Thought of Noria, which is another book. But this stuff is really, really good. It has me just like, ooh, I'm seeing stuff and connecting. But you guys have a great day. We will be back with the next one. Will be the 5th edition. We're going to go with the very next chapter. Let me see what chapter this is. I don't have to do it now. The very next one is, I believe, 31, or we just read 31, 32. 32 is the next one. We're going to go right into 32. But you guys have a great day.